talking about the octopus today. Up here is Marina, who's going to be helping to feed the octopus. And the star of the show right here is Electra. And then on the other side, in just a minute, we'll feed Gizmo. And Alexander, I think, is grabbing a ladder to feed on that side. Now, both of these octopuses are giant Pacific octopus, which is the biggest species of octopus in the whole world. And we're lucky to have them right here in the Puget Sound. In fact, they are such local residents that if you were to put on a wetsuit right now or a dry suit and hop outside under the pier, you could see them right there. Now, our local population gets to be about anywhere from 50 to 90 pounds. And for reference, this octopus is 40 pounds and Gizmo is 32. So imagine quite a bit larger than this. But out in the open Pacific, their average weight is 145 pounds. And the biggest one on record was a 400-pound octopus. So these guys are definitely a giant species of animal. And they're also pretty intelligent. Imagine these guys' closest relatives are clams and snails. So they have a pretty big brain and also very complicated eyes. And so they're very impressive animals compared to their relatives. In fact, you can tell that Electra here can see, is that a capelin that they're eating? Yeah, they're going to get, both octopuses are going to get 2 capelin today. And as Marina holds it up over the octopus, she's starting to wake up and see that it's feeding time. Octopuses are also smart enough to probably know that large crowds of people and someone on a microphone means feeding time. Now we can tell the relative activity level of the octopus based on the color of their skin. It changes both to camouflage with their surroundings, and then it also changes to show their level of activity. So when they're kind of sleepy, they're more of a white color, and when they wake up, they're more in this red color. Seems like she's pretty hungry. Maybe we should go ahead and give her the first one. So does anyone know where the mouth of an octopus is? Where is it? You can just shout it out. You don't have to raise your hands. What do you think? On the bottom, exactly. So if you stretched out all the arms of an octopus, it would be about where our belly button is. And does anyone know what the octopus has to eat with instead of teeth? They have a beak, that's right. It's their only hard part of their body. So this whole octopus can actually squeeze through any hole that is at least as big as their beak. Also, what are these round things on the arm of an octopus? What are they?
Suction cups.
Squishy things. They are pretty squishy. They're suction cups, and they can actually taste things with those suction cups. And so as soon as Marina touched the fish to those suction cups of the octopus, Electra grabbed a hold of it. So she has the fish right now, the first one there. So imagine what this means as you walked around today, everything that you touched, and every time you tied your shoes or touched a doorknob, you'd be able to taste it if you're an octopus, which is pretty cool. So she's taking it into the middle where her mouth is and giving us a much better view of her body now. So how many arms does an octopus have? 8, that's right. And you can see the eyes here. She is in a family of animals called cephalopods, which means head-foot. So all she has is that head with all of her organs inside of it and her arms attached. So she has the first fish and she is eating it. And it's going to digest upwards here. And inside of her head, she has a large brain in the shape of a donut that wraps around that digestive system. Which might not sound that impressive to us. We all have brains. But a lot of the animals you touch today in our tide pools don't have brains at all. And if they do, they only have a nervous net. And a few have actual brains. So the octopus is really impressive. You can also see her eyes. And underneath her eyes are her gills. The gills are where she breathes, takes in water to get the oxygen out, and then it goes out her siphon. Sorry. You might be able to see the siphon. I can see it over here. It's a tube that sticks out from the side of her neck, and it's the all-purpose out for an octopus. So anything that's coming out of their body is going out of the siphon. That's where they exhale. That's where they go to the bathroom, where they lay eggs, and where they can release a cloud of ink if they're trying to get away from a predator.
Trying to see the stick.
Did she get the second fish?
Yeah,
okay. So she is eating her second capelin, and she is also playing tug-of-war with the feeding stick right now. which is a pretty common octopus behavior. With a brain like that, they are pretty clever and also very playful animals. So today we're just giving her food on a feeding stick, but at other times we'll give them food for enrichment inside of other things so that they can figure out how to open them. Sometimes we'll put their food inside of a Mr. Potato Head, so they have to sort of play around and find the latch on the back and get into their food. A lot of octopuses can actually figure out how to unscrew jars and get into food inside of jars. And some octopuses aren't satisfied with the food that they get at aquariums. There was, at the New England Aquarium, they had an octopus who was crawling out of its exhibit in the middle of the night, eating rock lobsters, and then getting back into its own exhibit. And it took them a while to figure out who the culprit was who was eating their lobsters. This is actually a normal behavior. In the wild, they'll come up out of the water and feed in tight pools. As long as their suction cups and their gills stay wet, they can stay out of the water for quite a while. Now here we've had two that did escape, but both of them didn't make it very far because of the carpet. It dries out their suction cups. Ooh, Electra's putting on a good show for us, so we get to see more of her body. Now there are two main ways that octopuses move. They can crawl, and then they can also jet, so that she can take in water in her gills and shoot it out her siphon and move head first. And that's the way that they move when they want to go more quickly. Yeah, do you have a question?
Is there, that's a poorly, that's sort of a starfish.
Yeah, there's some poking starfish down there. And that's one thing that octopuses don't actually really like to eat. They'll eat lots of different kinds of fish. They'll eat squid, mussels, clams, crab, but probably not these sea anemones or sea stars. There's not a whole lot of meat on them. It's really cool to get to see all of her body here. But I think that she took both of those fish. So let's give a round of applause to Marina for feeding. You're welcome to go if you want to, but if you want to stay for the second feeding, we're going to feed Gizmo over here. So if anyone who's kind of farther over on that side wants to shovel, you should be able to see this.